Welcome back. Internet Computer has now figured out the user monetization issue with artificial intelligence on the Internet Computer Protocol. We're going to be exploring monetizing applications on the Internet Computer through the use of artificial intelligence on what they call the self-writing internet. Now, we've been covering this for quite a few months now. And we now saw the second rollout of Caffeine AI, which is the premier artificial intelligence capability for the Internet Computer, which allows users to just speak to the AI and tell it what you want to create, what DApp, what website, what program, what application, and it can code that all out for you, deploy it on the Internet Computer, and then host it on the Internet Computer all within one application. This is groundbreaking. This is very new, but it's not the only implementation of this. But as we've been talking about, one of the big challenges with artificial intelligence and these AI companies is the monetization game. How can these companies make money? It's the same thing with OpenAI. How can they make money when people want everything for free, right? I mean, if you think about like Google is basically answers everybody's questions and it's completely for free, but you are the product because they are making money on advertising. Well, with now on the Internet Computer, they have a whole, or I should say they're creating a whole economy of not only builders, but also products and businesses on chain. And in today's video, we're going to be exploring some of the new features and some of the new capabilities of the self-writing internet, what Dominic showed us at the recent unveiling of this capabilities. And we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into some programs and projects that have already been created utilizing artificial intelligence on the Internet Computer Protocol. So all I ask is that you guys sit back, relax, enjoy this video, and do me a favor, give the video a free thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video. Sometimes we do deep dives into individual cryptocurrency projects like we're doing today with the Internet Computer Protocol. And sometimes we talk about the macro environment in the financial ecosystem to help you make good financial decisions in your investment thesis. Nothing of what I say is financial advice. So make sure you guys do your own research. Let's get into today's video. So as we've been discussing, right, the Internet Computer is really at the forefront of this on-chain compute, on-chain cloud, decentralized cloud computing network. They're the only one really in crypto that is doing this at the level that they're rolling this out at, right? We've seen a massive increase in the total subnets or node clusters around the world. This continues to grow and expand. We're seeing a lot of proposals being put in for region-specific subnets and node validator groups. That way, you know, in the European Union, they could be compliant with the laws there. In the US, they could be compliant with the laws there, and so on and so forth. But what else is going on with Caffeine AI, right? Because Caffeine AI is a product, but it's not the product of Internet Computer, right? It's a tool to use to help you build things. But it's not the Internet Computer. It's not what is going to drive Internet Computer's valuation and usage higher, just having a large language model creating applications. Because mind you, there's other AI companies, and we've covered that on this channel. There are other AI companies and large language model companies that are doing the same thing, where you can code directly in the app, and it looks very similar to what Internet Computer's capabilities are. And so what is the difference, and why is Internet Computer very well situated for this? Because for me, Caffeine AI is like the introduction of DeFi. DeFi in itself is not specific to any individual chain, right? You can have DeFi, decentralized finance, on Ethereum. You could have DeFi on Solana. You could have DeFi even on Internet Computer, right? But the DeFi ecosystems, the tools that are built within these ecosystems, are the determining factor of whether they're used or not, of whether they're going to be successful or not, right? On-chain loaning, on-chain borrowing, on-chain transacting, on-chain smart contracts, utilizing Ethereum and Polygon to program a smart contract to do different things, right? So it's really about the tools. What Ethereum can do is not the same thing that Solana can do. What Polygon can do is not the same as what Arbitrum can do. They're very similar, but they all have their own uniqueness. And so when we're talking about internet computers, AI capabilities, we really need to understand a little bit more into, we've already revealed that they're creating an app store and they're going to have dApps built on the internet computer that you can effectively roll out. And if you think about apps in like the Apple App Store or Google Play Store, a lot of these apps can and are monetized in some way. I mean, you even have Apple charging app developers, I think 30 or something percent of the revenue that they make from these apps. So this is a very lucrative business. But when we're talking about on-chain AI and these new AI capabilities, we really need to understand how they're going to be monetized. And so just recently, I don't know why YouTube is so slow. If you put the quality above like very low, it's just so slow. Let me reload this and we'll watch the video. All right, so we got it up and running. But we're gonna start watching where Dominic is talking about how ownership and monetization works through the use of Caffeine AI to deploy these dApps onto the internet computer. And we're gonna be discussing as we go through. I'm playing this a little bit faster because this is a longer video. So you can just slow down the YouTube video if it's playing way too fast. But let's listen to what he talks about, Dominic, the founder of Internet Computer, when he's talking about ownership and monetization through the use of these applications that are going to be deployed on the Internet Computer. Let's listen in. And by the way, don't forget to give this video an absolutely free thumbs up. Also, hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video. We upload every single day to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. Let's listen in.
Shop for my golf.
And by the way, he's doing this as a live demo, so it is, you're hearing him actually talking out what he's doing.
Okay. Type shop for my golf. Whoops. Store. Okay.
All right, we finally got it to play. I needed to make this like extremely small window to actually get this working. I don't know what's wrong with YouTube recently. I've been getting a lot of comments that my videos, when you're watching on mobile, are fine, but when you're watching on a desktop, the volume is low. And you guys can see I've literally been off of the video for like 10 minutes trying to get it to play. So I had to make the screen extremely small. But let's start again and let's listen to how he's going to be building this golf application and how he's going to monetize it.
Build me an online shop for my golf store. Okay. Typers not good on stage. Whoops. I need payment integration and the ability to easily add items. All right.
So he wrote, build me an online shop for my golf store. I need payment integration and the ability to easily add items.
Hiding the URL. In the last session, we found out that this stuff is actually really running on the internet on a real URL because everybody on the live stream was able to type it in and join me. That's hidden. But people are going to get another chance in a second. They can see my Stripe API key. But it's just the trial API key. Luckily, we're not playing with Bitcoin private keys, right? That would have been funny. All right, so that thing is writing a lot of code. Wow, and if you can see behind me on this, and the back-end code, it's really going to town. Interesting. It's created quite a complicated back-end. Let's have a look at this while it's going. We'll leave that. Okay, this thing's done something. Okay, so we got version 2. Let's go look at it in the big window so you can see it better. Okay, gotta add this one. Okay, cool. So we asked it to add priority, I think, an estimated hours. So priority was the estimated hours, whatever, 16 hours.
By the way, this is a live demo, so a lot of it is kind of awkward to be watching because it's being done and he's trying to make it all look good. This is why I'm hoping that Dfinity actually puts out full demo videos where they're fully edited so that they're very easy and clear to watch. But again, this kind of goes to show you like what's happening on the back end, what developers are doing and what kind of multitasking they're doing in building these different dApps. Let's continue listening in.
In action, because if we could open the code, we would see that the definition of the task object has been changed. Like the actual task object's been changed, it's had this estimated number of hours added to it. So let's do another one anyway. We can see that we've got the estimated number of hours, 8 hours, here it is. And we'll do one more change. By the way, as we go, something else I should mention, which will bring us back to. Currently, I'm working in draft mode. And that's why you can see that message up the top. It's changed to view code changes. So everything was perfect, working perfectly. I'd click that, and it would show me the diffs, which are useful if I was technically minded, obviously. I can also revert to a previous version. So when you're working in draft mode, it's actually possible to revert to earlier versions. It'll actually create migration logic to try and get your data back too. Meanwhile, at any point, I can push it live, which means that it's not in draft. I'm basically taking the code itself and pushing that live. Now, you can imagine how this works. You continue creating draft version after draft version after draft version. Then you're like, I like this draft version. You push it live, and then you go back to just creating more draft, adding more and more draft versions. Then eventually you find another draft version you think is really cool, and you push that live too. And using enhanced orthogonal persistence, the AI will create logic that migrates the logic of the app from the first live version to the second live version. So that's very cool. OK, let's just add another feature, which is going to be.
And by the way, that's not. This is really like how developers do things on the back end. So what the AI is doing is just really replicating what an actual physical human used to do, right? With reiterating different versions, pushing a live version out. Think about how many times you have to go into your app store and update apps, because, I mean, there's apps that I go into every day. They need to be updated. It's like, I mean, can you slow down the updates? But on the back end, the developers are constantly reiterating and looking for bugs that need to be adjusted and fixed, and then re-pushing the product back out. Let's continue listening in.
First shot, and interesting. Is that another backend stuff? OK, this is a really quite a complicated thing that it's created. So let's have a look at it works. OK, pretty cool, right?
So Dominic just pressed see the draft version on that golf store that he asked the AI to create. And effectively, all it did was he told it to create a golf store app that he can add items into. It coded it, and now he can see the first draft. So he can see what it looks like, what it can do, and then he can go in and tell the AI, hey, change this, adjust this, add this, remove this, and reiterate it. Let's continue watching.
OK. All right, I think there's some frantic back-end bug fixing going on. Maybe it's solved. This is looking pretty good. So, and this, by the way, is just on with one shot. So, it's end-to-end life cycle. I won't push it live. I'll push it live in a second. But if I wanted to, I could push this live. But we're going to now try and add a Stripe integration. OK. So obviously there's no images or anything like that. But
so he wants to add Stripe, which is a massive payment network. And it's going to ask him to sign into internet identity. Let's listen.
You can associate different sub-accounts. So, for example, with internet identity, if you're participating in a user forum, say, you could have two different identities, but they'd both hinge off the same passkey. We're not trying to enable people to create sock puppets, but it's true that it could be used that way. OK, set up payment processing. All right. OK, so now I understand. This thing? OK, here we go. It's been put there.
So it's asking him to set up the Stripe secret key to connect, I guess, into the API of Stripe. He just put that in.
So now what I want to do, I don't know if I'm allowed to buy stuff in admin mode. I'll try it. Otherwise, I can log out and use a different identity to log in. Let's just try this. OK. It's got a shopping cart. That seems to have some things in it. Oh. So that bit doesn't quite work yet. So
he was pressing add to cart.
What I'm going to try and do is log out.
He's saying that in admin mode, he can't check out. So now he's going to sign in a different internet identity. He added some items to the cart, and he's going to show what the Stripe payment version looks like.
That not everything is going to work first time. You have a conversation and you tell it what's wrong. So right now I'm going to tell it, hey, when I click on, when a user clicks on the shopping cart, nothing happens. The cart does not open. Now, of course, in this case, I'm putting this prompt in. It might be something more complicated. It might be that when I'm in admin mode, I'm not able to also be a shopper or something like that. Who knows? But we'll leave that going. And oh, you're right. The shopping cart button currently doesn't open a cart view or drawer. Would you? Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, it's kind of funny, isn't it? When you get new technology, how quickly you begin to take it for granted. Literally in a minute or something like that, from one very simple prompt, it's created this entire e-commerce store with a Stripe integration for us. And now I'm upset because I find that the shopping cart doesn't work perfectly. And put that in perspective, I mean, it took us a minute or something like that. I don't know if it's going to fix it in one go now, but if you were to give a normal, human software developer the task that this thing just completed in a minute, I mean, it could be, depending on the engineer, it could be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This is a major change, going from that amount of work to being able to give an instruction in natural language and getting a result in a minute.
Now, I'm going to pause here for a second because I think this is a great opportunity to kind of go back to the NVIDIA CEO recently was on an interview, and he was asked, is AI going to replace jobs? Now, when the NVIDIA CEO was asked that, he said that it's not really going to replace jobs, but it's going to replace people who don't use AI in their jobs. And this is something very interesting because you can be a coder or a network developer, right? Or an app developer, dApp developer, and utilize AI now to help you make your job more efficient, do it faster, take on more clients at once, right? And right now we are in prime time for this kind of thing to be going on. I mean, we're seeing it occurring, right? I'm sure you guys have seen that these engineers will work at like 4 different companies all at the same time, making like $300,000, and they'll use AI, so there's still a lot of companies that are not using AI. So they're going to hire an engineer to do all of this, and they're going to spend 3 weeks to figure out what was wrong, why the shopping cart didn't work. But now you can do it all in one day, right? And so there's going to be engineers who don't utilize this capability, and there's going to be a lot of smart ones that do. And that's how they're able to work 4 different jobs at 4 different companies all at once. And people say, well, that's not right. It's like, just because a company doesn't want you to work for other companies doesn't mean that they can force you to do that unless it's signed in a contract, right? And in some areas of the country, like in the US specifically, like you can't have anti-competitive practices like telling an employee they can't work for multiple companies or they can't work for another company after theirs and stuff like that, depending on the type of job and the contract signed and where it is. But it's something to think about because now is prime time for people to be making a lot of money doing this and making their lives a lot easier. But if you think about like 5 years from now, anybody who's not utilizing AI to make their job more efficient, it's going to be a problem. And what I see is the issue is the educational system is not encouraging usage of AI. I mean, they've created all these tools to like, catch cheaters who are utilizing AI to write their, book reports or whatever. And it's like, but they should be using it, right? It's the same thing like when I was in school, they said, don't use a calculator. You can't have a calculator because you're never going to have a calculator in your pocket at all times. And it's like, we do now. And AI capabilities are only going to expand. So there are literally, like I showed you guys a tweet a few weeks ago on this channel that said, I mean, it hit really hard because it said there's an entire generation going to school to learn for a job that AI will be taking over. And that's literally it. There's a whole generation going to school to learn jobs that AI is going to do for them. It's really incredible to see how this is all playing out. And by the way, again, this is one iteration. This is Dfinity's iteration of a large language model. There's other coding AIs out there, and they're going to continue to expand. So let's continue watching at this unbelievable technology.
So let's go back to the thing that we got from the running out of time, from the App Store. You can see, by the way, that there are sort of successive code changes being created here. Sorry, successive draft versions being created.
This other application is like a to-do application or a reminder application, task application.
Scanned. It's done it. Okay? It's done it. Yeah. So I think this points to the future where app development is a conversation where anybody can just push what they've created through conversation so that others can clone it, whereupon they don't just get a fixed thing, they get a fluid thing that they can continue to evolve through more conversation, while potentially later on also incorporating new functionality that's been added to the original app that they cloned in the App Store. And then maybe one day, subject to licensing and a few other things like that maybe they can even republish that themselves for free or something like that.
Now, we haven't gotten in this video into the cloning of apps, but they did have a portion, which I'll probably show on another video right here on the Cryptoviser podcast. So make sure you guys are subscribed. That way you don't miss that video. But effectively, what they're talking about is like, let's say there's an app that you love using and you want to create that kind of interface for a different type of app. You can actually go in and tell the AI, hey, take Dominic's application called, I don't know, Dfinity to-do list and revamp it so that it includes calendars, it includes calendar invites, it includes integration with the email so that you can one-click add it from an email. Like there's so many different iterations that you would be able to do and be able to clone the app and make it even better and use iterations from the cloned app that are updated that you want to integrate into your app. Now, obviously, there's a lot of questions about, cloning apps. Is that copyright infringement? Is that trademark infringement or whatever? I'm guessing a lot of this is going to be figured out with time because it's not just going to be an issue here. It's going to be an issue in a lot of different areas. I think the Supreme Court actually just ruled on AI models utilizing information that company would consider proprietary or something like that. And they basically said that the AI should not be trained on this information because it's company specific. And I believe that the Supreme Court said no, like if it's public info, like they can utilize that data. And so companies are already looking at how they can kind of push back a little bit and stifle it. But I think because this industry is growing so rapidly, it's very similar to like what we see on YouTube. Like for instance, if I play a video that has music in it here on YouTube, there's a very high likelihood that I'm going to get a copyright claim. This doesn't necessarily mean a strike, but it could. And some people get their entire channels taken down for copyright. Just for like, I can have a 50-minute video and I can have 10 seconds or 20 seconds of music and they'll copyright claim the whole video and they want all the money from that video. But what we've seen is other platforms have stopped doing that because it's too cumbersome. There's too many copyright claims. Like you can go on X and post music and very rarely you'll see it taken down. Same thing with Facebook, Instagram, and all of that. But with YouTube, you can't play even 10 seconds of a video of a song without it getting copyright claimed. And so I think that the rest of the industry, maybe there was legal proceedings as well, but the rest of the industry, in social media were like, we're not dealing with this. Like people are going to be posting music. I mean, there's like streamers that go on like the Las Vegas Strip where there's music playing as they're just walking by a store and or a restaurant or whatever, and they get copyright claimed. Like the other social media platforms didn't get involved in all of that. It's really specific to YouTube. And so I think that because this AI capabilities are expanding so rapidly, it's going to be very hard for companies to stop AI from cloning an app. Because if an app is published and the coding is published for that app, or if an AI can figure out what the coding is for the app and copy it, technically that would be considered fair use, right? Or freedom of speech, because it's the same type of thing with like copyright info. If you're using it for fair use, it can't be copyright claimed. So there's a lot that is going to go into this, but I think it's going to probably be figured out over the course of time. But the cloning of apps is very interesting because imagine an app gets put out and then you as a developer can make that app even better. Now you're going to have a whole possible new business line of developers going to companies and saying, we can make your app better than it already is by significant margins. And they can actually show them proof of work before even getting the contract. They could say, this is what your application can look like if you hire us on. And they could already have the coding and everything already. So there's a lot of different business lines that are possible here. And I think that a lot of people are not really looking at that. I am. And I think many of you are. We're not just looking at AI as a tool, but what is it a tool for? It's a tool to make the job easier and to make you more money, right? People are already using AI for trading, for analysis of trading, and other market type of dynamics. And as this grows, there's going to be more programs that are built to help you do this. And it's going to utilize AI to help, number one, create the programs, but then also figure out the analysis of the charts, the analysis of the sentiment in the market, all these kind of things. And so this is version 1 of caffeine AI. I mean, think about where this is going to be in 5 years. Let's continue watching.
So let's just go back. I think that's pretty much it. I'll click on this thing if it's built it, but I'm out of time. Okay, it's building it. We'll give it one go. Just as a reminder, this is the code it's written in a very short time for us. This is backend code here, Motoko code, which again is run on hosted Stockholm systems, no database.
And by the way, what's also really amazing about this is it gives everybody the opportunity to like fast forward their career, right? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of recently in the middle of 2025, we're seeing a lot of layoffs, right? A lot of tech companies laying off tens of thousands of people, smaller companies going, shutting their doors. And so you have an older generation, right? And I'm talking about really 30 and up that are just being introduced to this technology. And a lot of them are not utilizing it, right? Because if you see that your job can be replaced by AI, you need to get ahead of that. And this also gives everybody the opportunity, right? You don't have to go to school for 6 years. Remember what I just told you that tweet said? It said an entire generation is studying for jobs that are not going to be there because of AI. And so instead of looking at that and saying, well, how do I restructure my career, restructure my business, restructure my future to get in line with this and make money and stay ahead of the job market? A lot of people are just doing nothing. They're just like, oh no, I'm just going to go on LinkedIn and apply. And it's like you're competing with thousands, tens of thousands of other people who also get laid off. And those jobs may never be coming back. So what do you got to do? You got to learn, right? All of this code that you see on the right side of the screen here. And if you go in the Caffeine AI app, you can actually go and look at the individual. I don't even know what these things mean, but you don't need to anymore. You just need to know that it works. You just need to know that it works. And so, yeah, I mean, we are really entering a different phase in the economy globally, right? New world of finance, right? With the adoption and laws being implemented for crypto, stable coins, DeFi, TradFi, integration into DeFi. We are going through a transition right now. And there's going to be a lot of people on the other end of this transition that did nothing through the transition. They just said, no, everything's going to be fine. I have my bachelor's degree and, whatever. Well, those jobs are not going to be there necessarily, right? If you guys remember Mike Rowe, he used to do a TV show called Dirty Jobs. Go and look at some videos recently of what Mike Rowe is saying. He's literally saying AI is taking these jobs away. The jobs that when, the baby boomer generation was having their kids and telling them to go to school and get a degree and, these are going to be good jobs. They're kind of normal jobs now, right? They're oversaturated. And what Mike Rowe is saying is all the jobs that he used to go and film, like these dirty jobs, these hard labor jobs, he's like, none of those jobs can be, at least where we are today in the technology field, they're not going to be replaced. A lot of AI is going to be tools to help you do your job better, right? But a lot of this is coding. They don't even have, they have robots that can fold clothes right now, but they don't have robots that can build a home. Maybe in a way, but not in the way that we need it, right? And so we don't have robots that can go and figure out a plumbing situation or an electrical situation in the walls. Maybe in the future we'll have that, but that's not even what they're focusing on right now. They're focusing on coding. And so what Mike Rowe was saying is what people in the US and really around the world need to really start focusing on is these trade jobs. Because those trade jobs, you're going to be making a lot more money in 10 years than traditional bachelor or, master's degree type jobs. Because even researchers, right? Think about researchers. If you're in a company that has 100 researchers, you now only need 10 because the researchers can just put data sets into the AI and the AI can come up with all the data analysis, all the data charting, look for different anomalies in the data. So we are going through a transition right now. And one of the things that I see with Internet Computer is they're way ahead of the rest of crypto and a lot of technology as well. And because they're the first at this and they're so far along in terms of merging AI, because again, Caffeine AI is not the only product that can do this, but Caffeine AI is the only product in the world that is integrated with a blockchain on a public network that can then deploy code for applications on this network. For me, that is groundbreaking, revolutionary, way far beyond any other ecosystem out here. So their first mover advantage is going to be the best. I think it's going to be much harder for other blockchains to integrate large language models doing this down the road because Caffeine AI can do it and Dfinity and Internet Computer are already there. And they have the blockchain that is capable of compute, capable of hosting these applications and being the front end for the user experience. No other chain has that. Doesn't mean no other chain will have it. Just right now, no other chain has it. And so as we're going through that transition period into AI and into the new world of finance, into the new world of investing and stuff like that, for me, learning this is going to pay way more than going to college and getting a degree. That's my personal belief and view. Because think about it. If you're a company that's either looking to implement AI capabilities or is enhancing AI capabilities or looking for people to program different things, and you spent 4 years of your life learning it and doing it, versus going to school and learning in a book, oh, well, you do this, and this is how you code this, and this is how you code this. Who do you think is going to be ahead in 4 years? It's going to be the person who's been doing it for 4 years versus the person who's going to school and learning everything but how to do the actual job. So the people who understand that are going to make a lot of money. And the people who don't understand it, they're going to be, at the end of their degree and say, wait, why can't I find a job? Which we're already seeing. People getting out of school, they're getting, $30,000, $40,000 a year jobs when they thought they were going to be making hundreds or $200,000 a year. And by the way, $100,000 a year is much different today than it was 10 years ago. I'm reading about engineers at some of these companies making $400,000, $500,000, right? And they're not even AI companies. They're just companies that are newer technology companies that are looking to implement a lot of this. And so who do you think they're hiring? You think they're hiring somebody straight out of college that has no experience whatsoever, or somebody who has years of experience in this? Let's continue watching. And by the way, I want to know what you guys think about my opinions and outlook on this whole AI, rollout that we're seeing, specifically with Internet Computer. Let's continue watching.
It's actually written an entire file, which is, I guess, whatever logic you have to code. That's the index page. The index page is incredibly simple. Okay, anyway, go back. Draft web page. Oops, admin, no. I've got a feeling okay, it's worked. There we go. And this I should not do. I'm going to press because we're just going to go down a rabbit hole. Ooh, no, it's... Oh, okay.
There's the Shopify integration.
But yeah, in a few prompts, I've gone pretty far. And where's the mobile? There it is, Golf Store online shop. So I'll take one last risk. Let's have a look. If this thing looks great on mobile, has it made it reactive? Yeah, it seems to. That's pretty cool. Yeah. These are products, they're all here, these images. Yeah. So I've created a beautifully reactive site. And then since this is a mobile paradigm, OK, this is kind of funny. One last risk. Why not? I'm an entrepreneur after all, right? Push this draft live for real usage. OK, this is where we're going to get screwed because everyone's going to see the domain. Golf.
This is the part where he is deploying it to the actual chain with a real website, right? A real URL. And what he's saying is in previous demos that they did at this Caffeine AI rollout, they actually displayed what the URL was, and everybody was going to the URL. I don't actually think it's a bad idea. I don't know why they were trying to not let people go there, but interesting stuff. Let's continue watching.
Yeah, so actually this is kind of simple in version 2. I know it's done something you can see, like it's done a bunch of different deployments there. What's actually happening is it's doing migrations from one step to the other step to the other step. It's a sort of easy way of implementing it. Let's view this. OK, there's live. So this now, so this would now be a permanent website. And if you're in the corporate environment, actually, we're introducing functionality where the deployment of an app from draft to live mode can be configured, a gate can be configured with something like a multi-sig. So you can say to someone in your organization, hey, you vibe away talking to Caffeine to create this thing that we need, or an upgrade that we need. But when you want to push that draft live, that functionality live, you have to get the sign-off of, like, let's say, I don't know, 2 out of 3 of these people, or something like that. So this system is designed to enable individuals and organizations create production apps that are secure, resilient, and sovereign entirely through conversation.
And so that's very interesting stuff, right? So we see the Shopify integration. This is one way to monetize whatever you're doing in an app. And also just create, an online marketplace, an online game, an online application. And there's already been a lot of like testing already underway. This user, Josh, who's, I guess, works at Dfinity, he said, I cloned the Brilliance jewelry app from Caffeine AI Marketplace and rebuilt it as a point of sale system for a coffee shop in 2 prompts. And so you can see here the coffee shop app. Let's go to the other image. This was the back end of how to buy the espresso, how many products you have, categories, what the revenue is. 2 prompts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see this. It's really small written. It says basically, hold on one second. It says what page is on or tiles, so I can look at the code you put. I don't know. This is really small to read. Let's see if we can make this bigger. It says what page is on or file, so I can look at the code. You can pass the code it uses there. Turn this into a proof of sale system for a coffee shop. He said to turn this into a proof of sale system, this is the AI, for a coffee shop, could you tell me a little bit more about your needs? For example, do you want features like order entry, table management, receipt printing, or just a simple interface to select coffee items and process payments? The user, Josh, wrote order entry, I don't know, something interface like Shopify has for point of sale. So 2 prompts, turn this into a proof of sale, and then they had a follow-up question, how do you want it to look? And then boom, it created it through cloning another app, right? Take this other app, turn it into a proof of sale system. And so this is going to make things very easy. I mean, at the end of the day, all the AI has to do is look at the code for the jewelry shop and then just reformat it into a coffee shop's AI. I'm sure this has been done before without even the use of AI. People just went to sites. You ever go to a website and it looks very similar to another website you went to? It's what they do. They're just cloning the code. And so that's very interesting, one implementation of this that's already been tested. Also at the conference that we just saw Dominic presenting at, there was a hackathon. So they had people come and present what they created. And basically The technical track awards for Caffeine Hackathon are starting. The bronze winner is Skill Sprout, which makes learning new skills more engaging by enabling you to collect points and achievements. And this is the user for that. Got third place from Skill Sprout. It says, watch your hobbies grow from a tiny seed to beautiful blooms. Your beautiful greenhouse is ready for its first plants. Start exploring hobbies to fill it with growing wonders. So kind of like a planting game and learning more about, how to do things like this. I don't know. I don't know I didn't see the full example of this. This would be another good thing for Dfinity to put out as its own video, some of these examples and how they work and how they were coded and what they could be used for. Also in third place, they had this guy of Dfinity. He is head of ecosystem hubs. And basically, he created with his team, it looks like, Dental Tracks, which enables you to accumulate all your dental records in one place and keep them private and secure. That's very cool. We've talked a lot about medical records on the blockchain. I think that this is probably much further down the road, but there's a lot of security risks in medical records and keeping them on a public internet connected chain. And I think eventually they're going to have to be on chain where it's provably secure, but they want to make sure that these chains are very secure first. So, but again, they're creating the narrative around you can create this, and we've already created it. Now you just need implementations of this capability and technology, and that will take time, obviously. Second place winner for the non-technical track went to Will Maker, which allows you to generate legal documentation such as wills, power of attorney, and healthcare directives for California. And this was the user for that who created it. Very interesting as well. Again, more in the legal realm. Lawyers that used to be hired just to draft letters or draft wills or draft other agreements, we're seeing a lot more usage of AI. I mean, there was even one lawyer who submitted some type of like order to the court, and the court like ripped them apart because it was written, like the whole order was written by AI, and there was clear like errors in it, and they were like, wait, did you guys even read this before you submitted it? So they're already using AI, right? The lawyers. And so having a more specific product specifically for making a will, power of attorney, legal documentation. I mean, we already have websites for that. And so putting that on chain in a more secure environment could be a potential use case as well. So they got second place. And the moment that they've been waiting for, the grand prize winner of the non-technical hackathon track is to Blue Lens, which enables you to monitor the safety of your drinking water with real-time data and analytics, including integrated AI chat tool. That's also very interesting. Maybe not for in the US, but you guys know around the world, water quality is an issue. I mean, even in the US, it could be issues. I mean, I went to one place on the Gulf a few years back, and the water, like the drinking water, it was like, it had like an oily residue. And they were like, oh no, it's totally safe. And I was like, I don't think so. I'm not drinking this water. I mean, just washing your hands with it, it was like a weird, like oily, and you guys know what happens in the Gulf, right? Like oil spills. And they were like, no, this water's totally safe. And I was like, don't know about that. But that's in the US. I mean, if you go to other areas around the world, drinking water is definitely, or safe drinking water is definitely an issue. And so this is the user for that, $25,000 first place grand prize. Congratulations, pretty nice for doing, just talking to an AI. Think about that. That's the new hackathon, getting an AI to code things for you. So you just have to have the brain and the intelligence and the curiosity. The AI will do the legwork. It's pretty amazing stuff. And so the final award of the Caffeine Hackathon went to this user, Samuel Burry, who I think it's the same person. No, it's not. A different Dfinity developer. for creating road patrol, which enables citizens to improve their cities through map-based reporting, including things such as potholes, broken streetlights, and more, which is very cool. It says join thousands of citizens making their cities better, one report at a time, connect with your community, and create real change. Now in the U.S., there are some like cities and states, they already have like these reporting tools. But there's a lot of areas in the world that don't have this and do have issues and do want a way that people can report it. Because if you're not reporting it, who's going to go and fix it, right? So very cool stuff here. Definitely a lot of interesting applications that they created. And again, this is the very early stages of this. And by the way, Road Patrol, which won that this prize, created that application with a total of 22 prompts. That's it. It's not complete, but I think a lot will be surprised that you can do a lot within the app according to this user. 22 prompts. And in those other prompts that I showed you in the actual live demo from Dominic, what did we see there? We saw actual 2 prompts or 3 prompts, and it created an entire application. This is going to change the world. This is going to change the business of coding and creating apps and dApps and programs across the board. And we're going to see more rollouts, more implementations of this. But for now, Internet Computer is the only blockchain that is capable of hosting these apps, being the front end for the user of these apps, being the compute platform, and having AI that can code on the Internet Computer or for the Internet Computer. It's the only one. And so with that, I am bullish. Are you? Let me know down below in the comments of this video. Don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. Check out my other Internet Computer videos on this channel. We got a ton for you guys to enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Invest responsibly, do your own research, and crypto on.